Recording in progress.
Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. We don't know what's coming, but we can help shape what's ahead. Kindness as our currency, the commonwealth is in our hands. So give a little, all, give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round, there's more than enough. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness, kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Look up now, people, but keep your ear to the ground. We are the river flowing, generosity abounds. So give a little, all, give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round, there's more than enough. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness, kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Honeybees serve sweetness only to help the world bloom, bringing love to the flower, from the flower to the fruit. We can learn a thing or two. So give a little, all, give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round, there's more than enough.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sacramento Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Patricia VanWoerkom, the Associate Minister, and I am delighted that you are here to join us today. Please know that we are recording this service, so if you want to change your name or close your video, that's just fine. At the end of this service, we will be having a social time that is not recorded. So we encourage you to stay and join us for that. We built a website, and it's a wonderful website. You have a picture of it on your screen, and it's for you to connect with us. All of our classes are on there, events, everything. You can send prayer requests to us. You can donate. You can find out about our teaching, the Science of Mind. You can connect to our national organization, their website. It's just a wonderful treasure. We also have back copies of the recordings of our service, so please check us out. We're also on Meetup and Facebook. Right now, I'd like to introduce our practitioner of the day, Linda Connolly. She is one of those wonderfully rooted and planted individuals. You will love it. So welcome, Linda Connolly.
Thank you. So let's breathe in. There's this loving, intelligent power of the One is infinite. Pure love, absolute knowledge, wisdom, and the power that creates world. This is the divine source within and all around each and every one of us here. It is that has called us here, brought us together as we have our minds challenged and opened, and our hearts will be moved by the music and the beat of the drum. It is that prepares us for the divine message of Reverend Sharon Dunn that will open our minds and, yes, challenge our hearts and challenge our minds. For that is the power of the divine message that she brings each and every time. And I am so grateful for all of this and more. I am so grateful for all the people in front of and behind the scenes that has brought us all here together. And so let's just open our hearts and bring a peaceful mind and settle in for today's service. Thank you.
And now for today's readings. Our first is from Ernest Holmes. I would rather see a student of this science prove its principle than to have them repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. Also from Dr. Ernest Holmes. One of the greatest difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. As a matter of fact, we only know as much as we can prove by actual demonstration. That which we cannot prove may or may not be true, but that which we can prove certainly must be and is the truth. Of course, the theory of any scientific principle goes beyond its application at any given stage of the unfoldment of that principle and the evolution of its accomplishments. If this were not true, there would be no progress in any science. The sciences are objectively real to us only insofar as we demonstrate them, and until demonstrated, they are suppositional so far as practical results are concerned. If there is any field of research where the practical application is necessary, it is in the metaphysical field. The reason being that the principle of metaphysics seems less tangible to the average person than does the principle of other sciences. And now I'd like to introduce our resident poet, Doug VanWoerkom. Doug has been writing poetry and performing poetry for a number of years, and we are particularly blessed to have him as a member of our community, and he will be here presenting one of his own poems.
Good morning, everyone. The poem this morning is one I wrote about 4.5 years ago while taking a class offered through this center. The poem was my way of giving shape to and sharing some of the ideas that we had been exploring in the class and how they were changing my life for the better. The poem is called "The Power of Your Word." If God gave us language, then every word spoken is sacred. And so knowing this, I look deep into each conversation, pushing aside the vowels and the consonants, hoping to find the meaning, the mystery, and the freedom hiding there. Why is it the excited blue jay has so much to say, yet so few ways of saying it, while we can speak thousands of words a day covering 100 different topics, and yet all we're really saying is, hear my truth. If this is so, then let's choose our words wisely and always speak from the heart. Tell me, how is it that by uttering just that one small word, no, either in anger or in fear, I can put at risk an entire night's worth of prayers? And yet, with one clear and certain yes, I can erase an entire day's worth of doubt. If this is true, then let's choose our words wisely and always speak from the heart. Have you noticed that on this world, It seems that there is always some kind of hole somewhere for us to fall into. Have you noticed that on this world, there is always somewhere some kind of hole for us to fall into? Can it be that life loves us so much, it offers us an abundance of holes? We have learned so many ways to fall in. Let's admit we've mastered this falling and move on. Choose now instead to climb up with vigor and praise. Say out loud, I am learning, Lord, my word is my freedom. Shout as you climb out, I am no longer a helpless prisoner of these pits. I am remembering who I am. And as with any tree whose trunk has been badly damaged, there is always the concern of disease and disfigurement, and it can take time to recover. The longer I take to recognize and release the deep woundings around my soul, the longer I remain in some way a risk to everyone else around me. So that is why I try to choose my words wisely and always speak from the heart. You know, it's a rare and true warrior who carries a sword in one hand and a joyful song in the heart. Be that warrior. Trust that divine discernment that lives in us all. Use it to strike down all doubt, shadow, and remorse. Don't fear the deep work of transformation. Let all your words speak only to everyone's rightful rising up. Let all your work be life affirming and an honor. Douglas, it's becoming clear now that all the hard work you've been doing is paying off, and I am glad. I think I'm finally beginning to understand now why it is we all should say, let's choose our words wisely and always speak from the heart.
Thank you very much, Doug. And now it is my great honor to welcome our senior minister, Reverend Sharon Dunn. Reverend Sharon has a master's in consciousness studies from the Holmes Institute and is beloved by many in the movement for her ability to clearly communicate substance in her messages as well as her visioning. So it is, again, with great joy that I welcome Reverend Sharon Dunn.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was amazing. Doug, that was amazing. Thank you so much. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. Go Niners. Okay. Is that spiritual? I think so. Anytime we, shout joy. Be quiet, Delane, you're muted. I see you trying to talk. I don't know what team you're going for, but you're muted. Anyway, good morning, everybody. I hope there she is. I hope everybody is as happy as I am this morning. Number one, because I'm with you. Number two, because we have a big playoff game today. So it's game day. So it's also January and our last Sunday in January, and we have been enjoying the monthly theme of Living Everyday Wonder, which is also our annual theme. And today's topic is Prove It. And I'm so excited about this topic because what is it about? It's about the science of mind. Ooh, that just tickles me fancy. I just love the science of mind. And so I want to ask you, how does one get to Carnegie Hall? Well, by practicing. How does one demonstrate a principle? By proving it. How does one live spiritually? By practicing and proving it. And Ben Franklin said, tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn. Anybody a kinetic learner, kinesthetic learner, wanting to get hands in and do it and touch it and feel it and make it work? That's me. I have to embody, I have to experience that which I am hoping to learn. And that's what we are going to talk about today. So 3 things on my list of things to talk about is number 1, science, and number 2, hypothesis, and number 3, prove it. And so the Declaration of Principles is what we believe was written by Ernest Holmes. And just recently was his 135th birthday. And we want to say happy birthday. I believe that was the 21st. And he wrote the Declaration of Principles, which is what we believe in. Today's principle that I'm going to use is that we believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. So this is the scientific process. And, as we say, the universal spirit, which is God, use whatever word feels good to you, because we're not saying it is this word, are we? No, we're saying it is this principle. So call God whatever resonates with you. You can call it love. You can call it universal mind. You can call it light. You can call it infinite intelligence. You can call it Howie, which is sometimes what I call it, since it knows how and I don't have to. You call it what it is for you. Just call it. When you do, it always answers. So we're not in our teaching saying you have to believe this or you have to believe that by any means. In fact, when you come to our teaching, you don't have to give up any of your beliefs, unless you want to give up the ones that aren't working in your life. And we're going to talk about that. So let's define science. The Oxford Dictionary defines science as the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. And the good news about our talks on Sunday is they're recorded. So you can hear that over and over again and still not understand it like I have done in the past. Or you can hear it over and over again until finally it makes sense. And number 2, intellectual and practical activity. 3 is observation and experiment. So when we're talking about the science, of mind, we're talking about Ernest Holmes. The Science of Mind is a textbook that he wrote that we use in our classes, in our teaching. We use it to explore the ideas of new thought. And, he didn't call it essays on the mind. He didn't call it religious ruminations. He called it the science of mind. And he intentionally used the word science. And we accept science, the science of mind, as a science. We actually use the idea of quantum mechanics or quantum physics for our science, since we've evolved past Newtonian physics. And by the way, if you love this conversation, which I do, I'm teaching a class on February 12th all day long on the science of mind. It's going to be a Zoom class. Everyone's welcome, and go to our website for information. But it is going to be a wonderful day exploring the science of mind. And why do we care about it? Because we can use it. When they say there is a power for good and we can use it, we use it scientifically. So if we accept this as science, right, we're talking about spiritual principles. We're talking about platitudes demonstrating. When we talk about spiritual principles, as I repeat every week, we're talking about what is true for all, qualities that is true for all. Love, light, harmony, peace, joy, and all that is good. And Ernest Holmes says, it's easy enough to rush about shouting that there are no sick people, but this will never heal those who appear to be sick. It is easy to proclaim that there are no needy, right, Linda? And anyone can say this, whether he or she be wise or unwise. If we are to prove such statements to be facts in our experience, we shall be compelled to do more than announce a principle, no matter how true it may be, right? So what are we going to do? We're going to prove it. So let's think about that. Let's think about that. The scientific method is, Patricia has a slide for us that she is, and by the way, can we give Patricia a big hand for stepping in for Ruth and giving us what we need today while Ruth and Cookie have their anniversary and celebrations of Cookie's brother who has made his transition. So we really appreciate them. And so the scientific method, can everyone see this slide? Just give me a this, and if you can see this. The scientific method is this simple. Now, why do you need to know this? I don't like knowing things that I don't know what to do with when I know them. Do you feel that way? Like, why do I need to know this? So I want you to take something in your life. Take something in your life right now, okay? Think about it. Think about something in your life, whatever it is. It can be any of the things that we're going to be working on this year. This year, we're going to be working on the inner life, play, creativity, emotions, the physical, body and health, relationships, nature, work, finances, home, and community. And you can add something if it wasn't on the list. We're going to be working on those things all year long with this wonder, with this curiosity, aren't we? And so what we want to do then is, if you choose something in your life that is in any of those categories, we can literally work with it scientifically to make change, Now, you may want it to be better. You may want it to release this. You may want to share this in the world. Whatever it is that you're choosing in this moment, just to use for this example, choose something that you can scientifically look at as a way to have it be different, as a way to either improve it, dissolve it, whatever it is. So choose something. And so the scientific method, and this is very simplified, is first we ask a question. So in some ways of people teaching the scientific method, they'll say, find a problem. As a religious scientist, that kind of raises the hair on our neck, doesn't it? But it shouldn't, because we want to identify what isn't working. Okay, so let's not to live there, not to stay there, but to work with it, to make something that's not working work. Okay, so ask a question. So I asked a question in my life: how can I manifest a relationship? And then I ask it more questions. What is in the way of me manifesting a relationship? And then I can get to the problem. I can get to the meat of the issue, the essence of the problem. And that's the gold right there, that we start with something that we want to change, and we then do some research on that idea, so we can read in the Science of Mind textbook. There's all kinds. We can attend a class. We can go to a practitioner. We can talk in fellowship after service. But we create then a hypothesis. Now, what do we call in New Thought, let's say this, what does Sharon call a hypothesis in New Thought or the Science of Mind, or just being a minister, just being Sharon, creating her own vocabulary? I call the hypothesis an intention. So we set an intention. Okay, because once we set an intention and we start working with the scientific process on how to make that intention manifest, then we're going to have several things happen. And as we're experimenting, we're going to have data appear, data that we can analyze, and we can then make changes to get the outcome that we want. Are you with me? Who's with me here? This is why we love science. We love the science of mind. So we're going to get into setting an intention, and then we start experimenting. Well, okay, I want a relationship, so I'm going to experiment. Well, if I want a relationship, guess what? I'm going to have to be loving, unless I want a different kind of relationship. I want a loving relationship. Well, my goodness, I must be loving. And so I start to experiment with being more loving in the world. Are we having fun yet? And then I can ask myself some questions about this, right? I can determine whether or not this behavior and these activities that I'm doing towards a relationship are working. And I can look at the data and analyze the data, and then I can come all the way back to the beginning and identify that I have identified a new problem. Or maybe I went deeper and got to the real truth of the essence of what must be different. And what does the problem reveal to us? Well, I also have translated ask a question or identify the problem as, right? What is not working? What is not working? What is actually showing up? What is actually showing up? So I can say that the problem is, drum roll, a belief. Oh my God. Oh my yikes, 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 and more yikes. I might have to change a belief. And so what are we going to do with that? Wow, we're going to create a hypothesis. So I'm going to set an intention, right, to change a habit. And that means I've got to replace it with another habit. And these habits can be changed, as we know, by many different ways, one of which is affirmations. Creating a new way of thinking of things, speaking our word in a different way. And then we can go all the way down the scientific method and to check our results and to see if we're actually getting the outcome, the manifestation that we desire. This is the scientific method in a brief little infomercial. But if you want more, which is very, very exciting, you come to our class on February 12th. Now, I'm going to ask for a very powerful testimony on the scientific method from our associate minister, who is courageously, and I want all of us to see that from the beginning, courageously willing to come here right now and tell us how she has used the scientific method.
Whew. Thank you, Sharon. Most of you know that about a year ago I had a fall, and the joy of that fall, all things work for good, right? Is that a tumor was discovered in my lung that was later biopsied to be malignant. There's a lot of things I can say about how I handled this situation. I'm trying to put it in the language of a scientific method. But I think the first thing is that I stayed open. Scientists do not come to a conclusion before they start the process. It starts with that ask a question, be open. Spiritually, it's also called non-dual thinking. When I got the diagnosis, I didn't go into panic and, oh my God, this is terrible. Okay, I didn't jump into judgment. It was a, so what are we going to do about this? There's no denying there was a tumor, but what am I going to do about it? And so I started asking myself questions about why did I think it was going to be there? Because I'm not fighting the reality. I'm not saying it's not there. I'm not being Pollyanna about this. I'm not doing a spiritual bypass. I had a tumor. The facts were that it was malignant. But how I responded to that was totally up to me. And so I started looking at a number of things. And my training from Science of Mind said clearly, effects have no power. They are subject to the law. They are formed by my earlier intents and thoughts and patterns of belief. Okay? Forms can change. I know Reverend Sharon did not go deeply into the physics of this, but I love the sense of light being either a wave of possibility or collapsing into a form. And out of that wave of possibility, I had collapsed and created a tumor had come forth from that. But I was always open to that wave of possibility, that I could choose another outcome, that I wasn't stuck with the form that I had. So I worked with those ideas about going back into the realm of possibility and remembering my own wholeness, remembering that I was created from a divine pattern of perfection. And I did a lot of treatment. I asked for a lot of treatment. I received a whole lot of treatment. A lot of people behind this, a lot of energy behind remembering who I was and how things could be different. And I looked at my behavior, and I looked at my patterns, and I looked at other parts of my life that might impinge on this. And I discovered there was a whole bunch of stuff that I needed to clean up. And as I did that cleaning up, as I became more clear, going back to Reverend Sharon's chart, as I went through the hypotheses and looked at things and looked at what was going on, my body changed. Within 3 months, the tumor went from 5 centimeters down to what they call now a thickening of the lining in my lung, or maybe the size of a grain of rice. So I'm still working on it. I still have something that I need to finish cleaning up. But that's the method, the knowing the truth, always going back to it, and living it internally so that I can live it externally. And that's always the experiment. Is there anything else you want me to say, Sharon?
That was amazing.
Any questions?
Nope, but let's all give her a wonderful, quiet ovation. We love you so much, and I'm so glad that you as a teacher in our community, a master teacher in our community, knows how to use the scientific process, how to use the scientific method. And so I'm going to conclude today by bringing us back to choose an area of your life as your laboratory. Raise your hand if you've got an area. Raise your hand if you've thought of something that you would like to apply the scientific method to. And choose from the areas also, if you want, that we are using this year, as we said earlier, and become curious about this area and formulate a question about it to explore further, right? So we call that an intention, don't we? We're going to set an intention for that. And then you're going to do some research. So that can be anything, whether, again, you want to look at the past and see patterns, or you might want to go to Debbie's vision board workshop when we reschedule that, and get some mental equivalents of what you'd like to have happen. Because getting a mental equivalent is kind of the beginning, isn't it? It's, Reverend Patricia got a mental equivalent of wholeness, and that cannot occupy the same space as illness. They cannot occupy the same space. And if I remember correctly, also you took Revealing Wholeness, which was an 8-week class that really seeded some new ways of experimenting. So classes are very good as well.
Thank you. I meant to say that. It was a wonderful class, and it was incredibly helpful.
Right. So
it was my research, definitely.
Because sometimes we can't find our way out by ourselves. Sometimes we need some help. Sometimes we need somebody to hold the light. Sometimes we just need to see the light, that there is a light. So the research can be take a class, see a practitioner. It can be anything. Journaling. Oh, that's a good one. Any spiritual practice is research, because we're listening to that wee small voice within about what is it that we really desire? Well, what is it we'd really like to believe? And then again, formulate a hypothesis and develop a method of a process to prove it. So our hypothesis is definitely an affirmation for type of hypothesis. We want to put it in the affirmative as if it's happening right now, right? I am wholeness, perfect, complete, and whole. That's my hypothesis. I'm running with that one to the goalpost to win over the Rams. I'm sorry. No, that was I don't know what happened there. Sorry. And so, and then again, experiment. So we can see what's showing up. Our experiment is, changing behavior, trying something new, all of what we talked about. And then again, collect the data, analyze the results, talk to a prayer partner. I love my prayer partner. I've told you so many times how I've been with this prayer partner since 2008. I don't even know how many years that is now. And I got to tell you that our Thursday calls changed my life every single Thursday. Oh, and we're cycling together now. I don't know if you've ever heard that term, but we always have the same issue now. It's the most curious thing. We're spiritually cycling together. Anyway, that's a whole nother talk. And that could be scientific as well. I'm not sure. So do the results that you find after you've done all this, do they lead you to what you desire? Do they confirm or support your intention? Do they transform you? Do they transform your life? Or do you still need to be curious and go back in there, start from the top again? Because don't you think, I think Reverend Patricia can validate this, and all of you, we get bigger and better and faster at our Dharma, don't we? We don't. Mastery is not, it goes away. Mastery is not, oh, yay, that's healed, never to come back. Mastery often, more often than not, is just getting faster and quicker and more proficient at meeting life with spiritual practice, with spiritual principle, almost like learning a second language where you're not actually dreaming in proficiency, but you certainly can go to it quickly, and it's wonderful. So there's no limits. Just know that there's no limits to your discovery, to the unfoldment of your life. There's no limits to what is possible. Because why? I feel like Mickey Mouse. Because we love you. No. Why? Because we have an infinite God. Hello. He, she, it, they, them. Ask your God what pronouns it likes. Whatever it is, get close to that thing that made you and that creates out of you and through you and as you, and just ride that fantastic life. It's amazing. So in the course of the next 11 months, you're going to have a lot of opportunity to do this. We're going to be practicing in all these different areas. Each month, we're going to focus on one of these areas. I think it's one of the most exciting themes and developments in all the things. I think we're just getting better at these annual themes and what we're doing together as a world, all of us, the centers that want to use these monthly themes, these talks on the week, each weekly talk. I think we're just getting so, I just love it. Maybe I just love it all and always have. But I want to end here by thanking Patricia, especially for her brilliance in being our production manager today, for her testimony that I know will be archived and will touch many lives. For her teaching, for her being my partner in this community, for her being our associate minister, for herself just being the beauty and the perfection and the completion and the wholeness that she is. So everybody, there is no limit to what we can have. There is a power for good, and you can use it. And I say, prove it. Who's in? Yeah. All right, let us pray. So we're going to say together, there is one power, one presence, and it is that has created everything, that has created all life, that has created life beyond what we know, even as human beings, that there are probably galaxies and universes that we have yet to discover that is created by this loving, intelligent, peaceful, comforting spirit that is always on call, that is always as close as our breath, that is actually the breath of spirit that breathes us, that creates each one of us and connects each one of us in that creation, that creates all life forms. So there is no thing better, less than, more than. This is not it. It is oneness that is our true identity. It is oneness. And in the oneness is the power. So we got to feed one another. We got to take care of one another, because we are as strong as our weakest link. We are as fed as our least hungry being. We are born and purposed to love one another, to take care of one another, to accept one another. And as Reverend Edward Viljoen so beautifully spoke as our keynote speaker at convention, we must take care of one another. We are not here to tolerate one another. We are here to love one another. It is beyond acceptance. There's nothing to accept. There is only to love one another and to lift one another up in any way we can, and mostly by our word and my word is powerful. So I let this prayer sit. I let it be so. I give thanks for it that it is answered. And please agree with me, all of us together, as we say, and so it is. Wonderful. Thank you. Slideshow. Isn't she brilliant?
Tiny drops of water bouncing on my roof, drumming out a song of love, pounding out the truth. You send them to remind me, one for every blessing on me, and oh, they keep coming, overflowing. Every day your goodness finds me, every day your heart beats true. I'm alive in the light and the glory, amazed by the sight of you. This love is everlasting, and you find a way to show me every day. In the rush of freeway traffic, in the hush of a sunset, you get my attention, I'm listening. It's a private conversation, you and I in a one vibration, and oh, it moves me so amazing. Every day your goodness finds me, every day your heart beats true. I'm alive in the light and the glory, amazed by the sight of you. This love is everlasting, and you find a way to show me every day. There is no one like you. Every day. There is no one like you. Every day. You love me. Every day. You love me. Every day your goodness finds me. Every day your heart beats true. I'm alive in the light and the glory, amazed by the sight of you. This love is everlasting, and you find a way to show me every day, every day, oh, every day, every day, every day. There is no one like you. Every day. There is no one like you. Every day.
Oh, wow. And what a gift for today's message. Beautiful, beautiful. And our opportunity is to give you our love and prayers. And we are offering a way for you to just keep this wonderful Sacramento CSL going and forgiving and loving. And you could PayPal on your screen there, mail a personal check to Sacramento CSL, or you can also join Amazon Smile, mention us as your favorite charity, and we get a little percentage back on that. Thank you. And thank you to our YouTube for your donations. We appreciate you and we love you. Thank you, always. And if you remain muted, we'll say our affirmation together. Our abundance affirmation: take with you, abiding by the law of circulation, and in heartfelt gratitude, I affirm that I live in a creative and abundant universe that does continuously flow in, through, and out as me, expressing as the ever expanding infinite good. And so it is. And don't forget, we have our prayer quest online, as well as you join us on fellowship. We have a 5-minute gift of prayer with you, and we appreciate it. And don't forget our website, www.saccsl.org. We're great. Thank you.
And we have the latest news. Now remember, all of this is on our website. We are helping to keep our community warm and fed this winter by working with HEART, the Homeless Area Resource Center. And we are helping to feed and shelter homeful people. On the 7th of February, we're working with the Antelope Road Christian Fellowship, and we will be there serving food. We're looking for volunteers. Linda, are you there? Do you want to talk a little more about this?
Sure, thank you. Yes, so we're meeting at the Antelope Road Christian Fellowship, and we're going to be providing the evening meal. And we're also going to be providing a breakfast to go, or fill a sack to go for 25 people. And so on the 7th, we are looking for volunteers to help us serve. We're also looking to have people help donate some of the food, perhaps prepare a meal or a salad. I know that we have Connie is making some bread. We could probably do with some more. And then for our to-go snack bags, like we need protein bars, or, you know, those little package of cheese and crackers and peanut butter crackers, those little ones that we can get. And so, yeah, so please call Ann if you have something to offer. We still need quite a bit to be ready for that, and we'll gather on Sunday because it is on the 7th. So Sunday the 6th, we can gather all that together, except of course for the hot meal that's going to be provided on the 7th. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Linda. Now, we do have a new home with the Citrus Heights Community Center, and we will be there next Sunday, live and in person. And even more wonderful is that unless we have a major spring snow, we will be joined by Gary Lynn Floyd live music. So please tell all of your friends to be there in person with your mask on Sunday, February 6th, and bring everything for our Heart Project with you. We also particularly would like to thank our supporters and followers on YouTube. This is part of why we record this service, is so that we can present this to our larger community. And it's a great way that if you miss us on Sunday, you can go to our website and see the service that you missed. So thank you very much. Busy Hand Warm Hearts meets the 2nd and 4th Monday of the month, so it won't be this Monday, but the following. So see you then. We have a wonderful class that started last Tuesday, and this Tuesday will be the last time you can join the class because we close all of our classes after 2 weeks. It's called The 5 Gifts of an Abundant Life. It is taught by Reverend Sharon, and this is a wonderful course. I have taken it. It helped change my life and expand my sense of living an abundant life. So I strongly recommend that if you want to increase the abundance of all areas in your life, this is a place to start. And now, Linda?
So our gift for you for the week is I become what I practice. I practice to become. And don't we do that? And so as we prepare to go out for the rest of the day and the week, remembering whose we are as we find a new way of thinking. And with that, we need to practice to prove that there is a power greater than us and we can use it. And with all this, I give such deep, heartfelt gratitude, and so it is.
Please just stay for our closing song and our fellowship.
May I ever use my hands for lifting up. May I ever use my voice for speaking truth. May I consecrate each day and live with joy and wonder. May I sow in peace as all the wild things do. I will ever use my voice for lifting up. This voice was made for peace. I will ever use my eyes for seeking truth. These eyes were made for truth. I will consecrate each day and live with joy and wonder. I will sow in peace as all the wild things do. There is peace on I will reap in peace as all the wild things do. Wild and precious, we are wild and precious. Life is wild